A cow gave birth to 20 calves at once, or did it? Some births are so insane they seem fake, but many are 100% real. What's real and what's not? Let's find out. Most cows give birth to a single calf. Some lucky farmers witness twins. Every once in a while triplets arrive, and that's already a big surprise. But a cow in Powys, Wales did something nearly impossible. She gave birth to quadruplets, a 1 in 700,000 chance. And what makes it even more astonishing? All 4 survived. The odds of that happening? 1 in 11 million. The farmer who owns the cow couldn't believe it when he saw 4 tiny calves wobbling on their legs. At first he thought it had to be a mistake, maybe some of the calves belonged to another cow. But no, his cow had indeed delivered 4 healthy babies. He called in the vet just to be sure, and the vet confirmed it. The births were real, and the mother was doing just fine. Cows are not designed to carry 4 calves at once. Their bodies struggle to provide enough nutrients for that many growing babies. In most cases, not all the calves survive. Some don't make it to birth, and even if they do, they often come out weak. But against all odds, these 4 calves were alive, kicking, and nursing. The farmer and his family had their hands full. 4 calves at once meant 4 times the feeding, 4 times the care, and 4 times the work. But it also meant 4 times the joy. They gave the calves special attention, making sure each one got enough milk. In a typical situation, a cow would only have enough milk for 1 or 2 calves, so the farmer had to step in and bottle feed them extra nutrients. Having a big litter is one thing, but what happened to Tia, a Neapolitan Mastiff in the UK, is something out of a record book. In 2004, she stunned the world by giving birth to 24 puppies in a single litter, setting the Guinness World Record for the largest number of puppies born at once. A typical Neapolitan Mastiff litter is around 6 to 10 puppies, so this was completely off the charts. Tia's labor was long and exhausting. Mastiffs are massive dogs built for strength and protection, but even for a dog of her size, carrying 24 puppies was a huge challenge. By the time she finished delivering, she was beyond exhausted, and the owners could hardly believe what they had just witnessed. They knew big litters were possible, but 24 puppies? It was almost impossible. The real challenge began after the birth. A mother dog can only feed so many puppies at once, and Tia was way outnumbered. The owners had to step in, bottle feeding the puppies around the clock to make sure every single one got the nutrition it needed. With that many puppies, there was constant movement. Some were sleeping, some were eating, some were tumbling over each other in a chaotic pile of fur and tiny paws. Even more remarkable, 20 of the 24 puppies survived, an incredibly high number for such a large litter. Raising that many puppies at once was no small task, but Tia, even after such a demanding birth, kept a close watch on them. She cleaned them, snuggled them, and made sure they stayed safe. Tia's record-breaking litter made headlines around the world. Dog breeders, veterinarians, and animal lovers couldn't believe it. The birth wasn't just rare, it was one of the most extreme births ever recorded in the canine world. And as wild as this story was, the animal kingdom had even more surprises. Because if you think 24 puppies in one litter is impressive, wait until you hear about the elephant that gave birth to a set of twins for the first time in nearly 80 years. A baby elephant is already a rare and incredible sight, but 2 elephant calves born at the same time? That's something almost unheard of. In 2021 at Pinnawala Elephant Orphanage in Sri Lanka, a 25-year-old elephant named Sarangi did what most elephants never do. She gave birth to twins. It was the first twin elephant birth recorded in Sri Lanka in nearly 80 years. Elephants have some of the longest pregnancies in the animal kingdom. Their gestation period lasts about 22 months, nearly 2 full years. Carrying even 1 calf is a massive challenge for a mother elephant, but carrying 2, that's an entirely different level. When Sarangi went into labor, the sanctuary staff knew something special was happening. The first calf arrived healthy and strong. Then, just when everyone thought the birth was over, another tiny trunk appeared. A second baby elephant was on its way. It was a shocking moment. Twin births in elephants are so rare that many elephant caretakers go their entire lives without ever seeing one. At birth, the twin boys were noticeably smaller than a typical newborn elephant, but both were alert, standing and feeding well. Their mother, though exhausted, showed no hesitation in caring for them. She stood protectively over them, using her trunk to nudge them closer when they stumbled, guiding them toward her milk and keeping them safe from the curious eyes of other elephants in the herd. As the days passed, the twins grew stronger, learning to walk side by side and explore their surroundings together. Elephants form deep family bonds, and these two would have the ultimate built-in companion for life. A beagle giving birth to an Arctic wolf sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but in 2022, that's exactly what happened. In a groundbreaking achievement, Chinese scientists successfully cloned an Arctic wolf named Maya, using a beagle as the surrogate mother. This was one of the biggest breakthroughs in conservation cloning, offering new hope for endangered species. Arctic wolves, known for their thick white fur and ability to survive extreme cold, are usually found in the remote tundras of North America. But this particular wolf, Maya, wasn't born in the wild. Instead, she was a genetic copy of another wolf, created in a laboratory using cutting-edge cloning techniques. The process started with DNA taken from a wild Arctic wolf. Scientists then placed this genetic material into a dog egg cell, creating an embryo that was implanted into a beagle. Beagles were chosen because their size and reproductive cycle closely matched those of a wolf. When the pregnancy reached full term, the beagle gave birth to a perfectly healthy Arctic wolf pup. Maya wasn't just a scientific experiment, she was a fully functional Arctic wolf, raised in a controlled environment where researchers could monitor her development. The goal wasn't just to see if cloning could work, but to explore whether this technology could be used to help save endangered species in the future. Arctic wolves are not currently at critical risk, but many other species like the Przewalski's horse and even the woolly mammoth could benefit from similar techniques. The birth of Maya raised big questions. Could cloned animals be introduced back into the wild? Would they behave the same way as naturally born animals? Could this technology one day bring back extinct species? While the answers aren't fully clear yet, one thing is certain: a beagle giving birth to a wolf is just the beginning of what's possible. Most animals stop reproducing after a certain age, but Henry, a tuatara from New Zealand, didn't seem to care about the rules. At 80 years old, he became a first-time father, proving that even in the animal kingdom, it's never too late to start a family. Tuataras are not lizards. They look like lizards, but they belong to an ancient group of reptiles that have been around since the time of the dinosaurs. They grow slowly, live for over 100 years, and are one of the most unique creatures on the planet. But Henry, despite his long life, had never fathered any offspring. For decades, he showed no interest in mating and was even known for being aggressive toward other tuataras. That all changed when he was introduced to a female tuatara named Mildred at the Southland Museum in Invercargill. Something clicked, and for the first time in his long life, Henry finally became a dad. Mildred laid 11 eggs, and when they hatched, healthy baby tuataras crawled out, marking an incredible moment in conservation history. Scientists were shocked. They had no idea a male tuatara could still reproduce at such an advanced age. It turns out that unlike most reptiles, tuataras don't have a strict reproductive cutoff. As long as they're healthy, they can keep producing offspring well into old age. This was a major win for conservation efforts. Tuataras are a protected species, and every successful birth helps increase their population. Henry's story gave hope that even older tuataras could still play a role in keeping their species alive. Horses are powerful, majestic animals built for speed and strength. Even the smallest breeds, like miniature horses, are usually about 2 feet tall at birth. But in 2010, in Barnstead, New Hampshire, a tiny foal named Einstein completely shattered expectations. He was so small at birth that he barely looked real, standing just 14 inches tall and weighing only 6 pounds. Most miniature horses are small because of dwarfism, a genetic condition that can cause health problems. But Einstein was different. He had perfect proportions, just like a normal horse, only on a much smaller scale. That's what made him so special. He was simply a tiny, fully healthy horse. When Einstein was born, he was so small he could be picked up and cradled like a puppy. His owners, a couple who raised miniature horses, were stunned. They knew they had something special, but they had no idea just how famous he would become. Within weeks, word spread and Einstein became an internet sensation. People couldn't believe a horse that small could exist. As he grew, he stayed remarkably tiny. Even at full size, Einstein remained one of the smallest horses ever recorded, never reaching the size of other miniature horses. His small frame, combined with his lively personality, made him one of the most unique equines in history. Horses come in all shapes and sizes, but Einstein showed the world just how incredibly tiny a horse could be. And while his birth was record-breaking, the animal kingdom isn't just about size. It's also about unexpected families. Because while Einstein was making headlines for being the smallest horse, two penguins in Australia were making history as the most famous same-sex penguin parents ever. Penguins are some of the best parents in the animal kingdom. They take turns keeping their eggs warm, feeding their chicks, and protecting them from predators. But in 2018, at Sea Life Sydney Aquarium, something unusual happened. A pair of male Gen 2 penguins, Sven and Magic, were given an egg to care for, and they successfully hatched a chick. Same-sex penguin couples aren't unheard of. In the wild and in zoos, male penguin pairs have been seen building nests together and trying to hatch rocks, treating them like real eggs. But Sven and Magic were different. The zookeepers noticed that these two weren't just playing around, they were serious about becoming parents. To test their skills, the aquarium staff gave them a dummy egg. They took turns sitting on it, gently rolling it between their feet to keep it warm, just like any other penguin parents. Seeing how dedicated they were, the keepers decided to give them a real egg from another pair that had laid two. Sven and Magic took their new responsibility seriously. They guarded the egg, kept it warm, and made sure it was always safe. Weeks later, the egg hatched, and out came a healthy chick. The two dads cared for their baby just like any other penguin couple, feeding, cleaning, and keeping the little one warm. Their story became world famous, and Sven and Magic quickly became one of the most beloved penguin couples in history. Some baby animals enter the world soft and helpless. Others come out covered in spikes. Meet the tenrec, a bizarre little creature from Madagascar that looks like a hedgehog mixed with a shrew. Unlike most spiky animals which have soft fur at birth, tenrec babies are born with fully formed quills, ready to defend themselves from the moment they arrive. But that's not the only wild thing about them. While most mammals have a few babies at a time, tenrecs break the record with some of the largest litters in the animal kingdom. A single tenrec mother can give birth to as many as 32 babies at once. That's more than most dogs, cats, or even rodents. A litter that big means chaos. The tiny needle-covered newborns scramble for milk, climbing over each other in a spiky pile. Their mother, despite being small herself, somehow manages to feed and care for them all. As they grow, the spikes become even sharper, acting as built-in armor against predators. Tenrecs are one of Madagascar's weirdest animals, and their extreme birth sizes make them even stranger. But while a tenrec mom juggling 30-plus babies is impressive, there's another mother out there who had the world watching her every move. And this time, it wasn't just scientists paying attention, the entire country of China was on edge. Giant pandas are notoriously difficult to breed. Their mating windows are short, their pregnancies are unpredictable, and single births are the norm. So when Huan, a giant panda at Zoo Parc de Beauval in France, gave birth to twins in August 2021, it was a massive moment for panda conservation. The first cub arrived safely, but just when everyone thought the labor was over, another tiny panda appeared. The staff at the zoo were overjoyed. Panda twins are extremely rare, and raising two cubs at once is a massive challenge. Newborn pandas are shockingly small, weighing only about 1/4 pound, completely pink and totally helpless. Because mother pandas struggle to care for two cubs at the same time, the zookeepers had to step in. They swapped the cubs in and out of their mother's care, keeping one with her while the other stayed in an incubator. This method helped both babies survive, ensuring they got the attention and milk they needed. The two sisters, named Huan Lily and Yuen Dudu, quickly became stars. Their birth was celebrated worldwide, and China, where giant pandas are a national treasure, was especially thrilled. These cubs weren't just adorable, they were a symbol of hope for their species. But while panda births are rare and precious, some animal births don't happen in the safety of a zoo or sanctuary. Some happen in the wild, in places where survival is a constant battle, and in Colorado, deep underground, something was happening that sent hundreds of baby rattlesnakes slithering into the world, all at once. Most people would prefer to never come across a rattlesnake. But in northern Colorado, researchers stumbled upon one of the biggest rattlesnake dens ever found, home to over 2,000 snakes, and growing. Rattlesnakes don't lay eggs like many other reptiles. Instead, they give birth to live young, usually about a dozen at a time. But in this den, multiple female snakes were giving birth at the same time, causing the population to explode. Scientists set up live cameras to monitor the activity, and what they captured was jaw-dropping. Dozens of baby rattlesnakes were slithering across the ground, their tiny bodies blending into the dirt. Unlike most newborn animals, rattlesnakes are born fully developed, complete with fangs and venom. From day one they can hunt and defend themselves. The sheer number of snakes in this mega den made it one of the largest recorded rattlesnake birthing sites in the United States. It's rare to see so many baby rattlesnakes born in one place at the same time, but the conditions in this underground network were perfect for breeding. For most people, the idea of thousands of baby rattlesnakes hatching underground is nightmare fuel. But in the animal world, even weirder births have happened. Because just a few years ago, on the plains of Kenya, a zebra gave birth to a foal that wasn't entirely zebra. Zebras are known for their black and white stripes, but when a mother zebra at Chiulu Hills National Park in Kenya gave birth, something was very different about her foal. Instead of having the usual zebra markings, her baby had a donkey-like body with faint stripes on its legs. At first, rangers thought the foal might be sick, but as they got closer, they realized something incredible had happened. This was a zonkey, a hybrid between a zebra and a donkey. This wasn't a case of human interference. It happened naturally in the wild. The mother zebra had wandered out of the park and into a nearby community, where she likely mated with a local donkey. When she returned to the protected area, she was already pregnant with a foal that was half zebra, half donkey. Zonkies are extremely rare because zebras and donkeys have different numbers of chromosomes, making successful hybrid births unlikely, but somehow, this little foal defied the odds. Hybrids like zonkies don't usually happen in the wild. Zebras and donkeys don't naturally pair up, but in areas where human settlements overlap with wildlife, strange things can occur. While the little zonkey looked different from the rest of the zebra herd, its mother accepted it completely, raising it as one of her own. Horses have been around humans for thousands of years, but one species almost didn't make it: the Przewalski's horse. This wild horse, native to the Mongolian steppes, was declared extinct in the wild in the 1960s. The only ones left were in captivity, and their genetic diversity was shrinking fast. Then, in August 2020, something incredible happened. Scientists successfully cloned a Przewalski's horse for the first time in history. The foal, named Kurt, was created from 40-year-old frozen DNA, making him a genetic copy of a wild horse that lived decades ago. To pull this off, scientists used a domestic horse surrogate mother. The embryo, created in a lab, was implanted into the surrogate, and after a normal horse pregnancy, Kurt was born. He looked like a typical Przewalski's horse, stocky, with a short mane and a strong build, but he was also a sign of what's possible for endangered species. Kurt's birth wasn't just about saving one species, it was a test of whether cloning could be used to revive other animals on the brink of extinction. If Przewalski's horses could be cloned successfully, what about rhinos, bison, maybe even species that are already extinct? Scientists are already working on projects to bring back the woolly mammoth, using similar techniques. Reptiles have some of the strangest reproductive methods in the animal kingdom, but what happened with this copperhead snake in Virginia was something scientists almost didn't believe. She gave birth without ever meeting a male, not once, but twice. In 2012, a team of researchers studying wild copperheads found a female that had delivered a clutch of baby snakes. But there was one problem: she had been living alone, with no male copperhead anywhere near her. How was this possible? The answer: parthenogenesis. It's a rare phenomenon where a female animal can self-fertilize, producing offspring without a male. It happens in some insects, reptiles, and even a few birds, but in snakes, it's extremely unusual. Scientists were amazed but thought it was just a one-time fluke. Then in 2019, the same snake did it again. Without any male contact, she gave birth to another set of baby snakes. This confirmed that some female copperheads are capable of reproducing entirely on their own, without needing fertilization. The baby snakes were small but fully functional, equipped with venom and ready to survive on their own. This kind of reproduction might help snakes survive in the wild, especially in areas where males are scarce. It's a built-in backup plan for continuing the species when mates are hard to find. We are looking at one of nature's most astonishing feats: a lizard that cloned itself to form an entirely new colony. This phenomenon, known to you as parthenogenesis, is seen in certain species of whiptail lizards, where females reproduce without mating. In the arid landscapes of New Mexico, a single female lizard established a thriving population by producing genetically identical offspring. These lizards bypass traditional reproduction, laying unfertilized eggs that develop into viable clones. What makes this process even more fascinating is its precision. Every offspring is a perfect genetic copy of the mother, ensuring continuity of the species even in isolated conditions. This unique ability doesn't come without limitations. A lack of genetic diversity means these populations are more vulnerable to diseases or environmental changes. Still, their resilience is nothing short of extraordinary. These lizards not only defy the odds of survival, but also challenge our understanding of reproduction. In the harsh, unforgiving deserts, the story of these self-cloning lizards proves that nature always finds a way, no matter how unconventional it may seem. From deserts to the farmyard, let's visit a small village in Sri Lanka, where an ordinary hen achieved something truly extraordinary, giving birth to a live chick without laying an egg. The event left villagers and scientists alike baffled, as it defied the very nature of avian reproduction. Typically, a hen's egg is laid and incubated externally. In this rare case, the egg remained inside the hen's body, where it developed and hatched. The phenomenon is incredibly rare, and comes with significant risks. The chick's internal hatching caused complications for the hen, and unfortunately, she did not survive the ordeal. However, the chick emerged healthy and thrived under the care of the farmer. This unusual event highlights the delicate and intricate process of egg formation, which typically involves the shell forming as a protective layer around the developing embryo. In a story that sounds almost like science fiction, the gastric brooding frog, declared extinct in 1983, stunned scientists when it laid eggs decades later, thanks to groundbreaking de-extinction research. Native to Australia, this frog was unique for its bizarre reproductive method. Females swallowed their fertilized eggs, incubated them in their stomachs, and eventually gave birth through their mouths. In 2013, researchers with the Lazarus Project used preserved genetic material to implant the frog's DNA into eggs from a related species. Incredibly, the embryos began to develop, offering hope for reviving extinct species. While the embryos didn't survive to full term, the event marked a breakthrough in de-extinction science. This extraordinary case not only highlighted the frog's fascinating biology, but also underscored the potential of genetic research in conservation. That's about it. Write in the comments which of these births surprised you the most. For more useful information, watch other videos.